Hey everyone, welcome to the channel. My name is Danny Chess and welcome back to 1 Year 365 podcast. And today we will discuss about hydroponics. I guess let's just jump into it. The previous, like yesterday's video, we talked about my current situation or current status of my plants, right? Garden or whatever. In which I also talk about my hydroponics, right? Like my attempt in doing hydroponics, but it failed, right? So yeah, I guess let's just learn ourselves or educate ourselves with hydroponics then, because apparently it's actually quite difficult and a little bit expensive as well. Compared to just using soil and water, right? But yeah, hydroponics is a type of horticulture and a subset of hydroculture, which involves growing plants, usually crops, without soil by using water-based mineral nutrient solutions in aqueous solvents. Okay, so you grow plants, usually crops, right? Without soil, and this is quite important. You basically don't need any kind of soil, right? So when you think about this, then it means you can do it anywhere, right? But yes, however, you will need like the container. You will need lots of pipes. You will need water and etc. etc. It it makes it a little bit more complicated than just using soil, honestly. Um, and yeah, also the water that it used, it's not pure water. It is actually mineral. It's just a water that has solutions, basically like mineral nutrient solutions. It's like water and then it has nutrients in it, right? Um, the nutrient itself can be organic, can be inorganic as well. By that I mean you can use like all sorts of scraps, I would say, like food scraps, vegetable scraps, and etc. Like basically your kitchen waste, right? And you can use that. You can kind of like soak those waste in the water, I guess, and then the water will extract all those minerals, right, or nutrients, and then you use those water to basically to water the plants. Yeah, like just to flow those water to the root system of the plants, right? And inorganic as well, if you use like yeah, like uh, crystals, I would say, like mineral crystals, and then you dissolve that, I would say. um, and this one is actually quite interesting because it is actually you actually know what's inside these minerals, right? Like the percentage of the calcium, the percentage of like magnesium, natrium, whatever, right? Every minerals basically like inside those crystals, you can kind of know, right? Because in the package it's usually been set, right? Like the composition of the what is it again, like the ratio between CH and O, I think, or N. I kind of forgot already. But yeah, there's that. Terrestrial or aquatic plants may grow with their roots exposed to the nutritious liquid, or in addition, the roots may be mechanically supported by an inert medium such as gravel, I mean, or other substrates. Okay, so basically their root will hang, right? Like will be hanging, and sometimes it will touch the water, right? Well, obviously, it's like basically the tip of the water, right? And then the plants start to absorb those nutrients, right? That's like the theory. That's like the theory, right? Um, and then you can also use apparently like such as like minerals as well, like this perlite gravel. It's basically like small rocks, right? Small porous rocks or pebbles, I would say. It has to be porous because so that it can absorb lots of water, right? So that it can store those water, and the root can just absorb those water inside the perlite, the gravel, and other thing, right? So yeah, and yeah, okay. NASA researchers checking hydroponic onions center pip lettuce left and radishes right. Oh, okay. So this one is what is it? Lettuce and then onions. Yeah, this looks like onion, right? The onion leaves basically, and then this one is radish apparently. So radish, if you so apparently radish is like carrot, right? So it actually grows downward. So it's actually quite interesting here because then the root will actually store the food, right? Which then becomes the radish or carrots in itself, right? So it's quite interesting. You can also use hydroponic for plants that are storing their food in their roots, right? So yeah, it's quite interesting. And then lettuce, I guess it's just a leaf, so nothing going on. The onion as well, like there is some parts in the root that grows into the onion itself, right? And then the leaves or the onion leaves will go upwards, right? And then you can use that as well. Interesting, I guess. But for me, I think the radish is the most interesting one because, like I said, the water touches the nutrient, right? And radish, I believe the root also will grow into the radish, right? So it's quite interesting there, right? As the roots like grow bigger, then is it possible that you know some parts of the radish also got into the water as well? Probably not, right? Well, yeah, I don't think so anyway. Maybe it's like not at the bottom of the root, I guess. Like there is the ball, or the radish ball, and not ball but more like whatever its shape, right? Like maybe let's say radish ball, right? And then like at the bottom of the ball there's still roots that going down, right? Probably that is. So yeah, despite inert media, roots can cause changes of the rhizosphere pH, and exudates can affect rhizosphere biology and physiological balance of the nutrient solution by secondary metabolites or metabolites, I guess. Transgenic plants grown hydroponically allow the release of pharmaceutical proteins as part of the root exudate into the hydroponic medium. Okay. Nutrients used can come from many different sources, including fish excrement, duck manure, chemical fertilizer, artificial nutrient solution. So this is what I said, organic and inorganic, right? The one that is chemical fertilizer, and then artificial nutrient solutions, I believe those are the inorganic one. Well, this fish excrement, like maybe like fish water probably, and then duck manure as well. Yeah, like I guess they like dissolve that into water, right? And then they filter those probably, and then let the just to filter out the big chunks of dirt, right? Or whatever that you don't want, right? And you just get the water that has extracted all those nutrients, right? So yeah, although I don't really recommend. I mean, I have no biology experience, but if you are new, then I think this one, like the excrement and then the duck manure, is probably not recommended, right? Because it stings, right? Yeah, and then that those will turn into the vegetables that you will eat, right? So there is always this I would say like stipulations, I would say, that basically that you eat those yeah, like you eat those fecal material, right? So yeah, you probably don't want that if you're new. But if you're like expert, like, then this should not be a problem for you, right? But yeah, I when I did this, I used an artificial one. Actually, no, I used the chemical fertilizer. um so yeah, like I said, it's rock, I'd say, like mineral rock that has it's like it's already been written, right? The presentation, I would say, like the composition, I mean the composition of the mineral, it's already there, right? So you just use that with water, and then you use for every liter you add like 5 milliliter or something like that. I kind of forgot already, but yeah, there's that. Um, Plants are commonly grown hydroponically in greenhouse or contained environment or on inert media adapted to the controlled environment agriculture process. Okay, include tomatoes, peppers, cucumbers, strawberries, lettuce, cannabis. Usually for commercial use, Arabidopsis, which serve as model organism in plant science and genetics. Okay, so there's also a lot of stuff as well. Apparently, like stuff like watermelon and then melon in general, you can also do that hydroponically as well. I have seen people doing it, like in video, obviously, right? But yeah, it actually can work. Like so you will have the vines, right? And then the vines will have the roots. The roots will touch the water. And then as for the watermelon, it's heavy, right? So the watermelon will be placed outside the pipes because it's fine. Like it has vines, right? Like long vines. Then you can kind of you can kind of manipulate the shape of the entirety, right? Because it's viney, then you can put it outside the container and use and put the watermelon in a separate container, right? And just wait it to grow, basically just for like the container for the watermelon when it grows, right? So that it doesn't it doesn't pull down your hydroponic system, right? And broke your thing basically. So yeah, there's that. um like orange as well, I believe, can do that as well, like actual big tree, right? Not only like tomatoes, I mean even tomatoes is kind of viney as well. So yeah, there you go, I guess. And the strawberries, lettuce, yeah, lettuce is quite common one. Any other leaves, like green leaves basically, like basil, lettuce, and then what else, like what is it again, I kind of forgot what it's called, like spinach, I would say. That can also be used here, right? So yeah, hydroponics offers many advantages, notably decrease in water usage in agriculture. I mean, yeah, because you reuse the water, right? Because um, like if like this, if you grow with soil, you will water the plants, right? And then the water will got absorbed into the earth as well, right? It will, due to gravity, it will come down eventually, right? However, in hydroponic system, the water is actually contained in a closed system, right? So you use pumps to pump the water and then to circulate the water, right? And then there's the reservoir as well, and like basically the water in reservoir will get pumped and it will get circulated in the flow of the entire hydroponics as well, right? So in theoretically, the amount of water in hydroponic system will most likely stay, ignoring the fact that some of the water also get absorbed by the plants, right? But that also happened in the soil, so that's why I ignore that. And then for the soil one, if you put your water it, like if you water it, then again, with ignoring the fact that it got absorbed by the plants, it also got absorbed by the earth as well, right? The water come down and like yeah, it's gone basically, right? Like you cannot extract the water from the ground again and reuse it, right? So yeah, there is that. To grow 1 kilograms or 2.2 pounds of tomatoes using intensive farming methods requires 214 liters or 47 gallon, I guess, or 57 US gallons, I mean, of water using hydroponics. Okay, so that's basically so that's the soil farming, right? 1 kilogram tomato, you will need 214 liters of water, right? Because the water's gone, right? Once you water, it's either retaining in the land or in the soil, and after a while, it will get absorbed by the earth, right? Due to gravity as well. using hydroponics 70 liters and only 20 liters using aeroponics. Oh, okay. So there is also aeroponics, right? It's actually quite interesting. Not every plants can do aeroponics, I don't think. But yeah, maybe we'll have to check that out in the other videos as well in the future. Probably, right? Um, so yeah, basically you only need a third of the water needed in in farming, right? However, then again, in only farming you probably only need soil and water and sometimes fertilizer, right? But the thing is that if you use hydroponics, you will also need money to build the frame, right? Like build the system in itself, right? Like construct the pipes, put holes in the pipes and get yourself some water pumps, and then the water itself, and then there is also the nutrient as well and stuff like that as well. So like I would say like the frame or the system itself is actually the thing that will make up most of the cost, really. Like um when I learned about hydroponics, it needs like a pipe, right? Like PVC pipes, and it's actually not cheap. Like a cylinder of PVC pipes, that's about 4 meters or 3 meters. It will cost about, in my place anyway, it costs about 30, I would say, like 30 to 50 dollars. So yeah, that's like expensive, right? Well, maybe not, but it is actually expensive in here. And like only soil is just like $1, right? And then the water itself, there is still the water, there is still the nutrient, and so on and so on, right? So yeah, like the one that makes this expensive, I would say, is the pipes, right? The PVC pipes. Although you can technically use old pipes, but then again, where will you find old pipes, right? Like where will you find it? You don't just use your water, like rainwater catcher, right? The pipe to you to do this, or like you don't basically randomly found this anywhere, right? So it's kind of difficult, when you said recycle, I would say, from other unused parts, but then where do you find these things to begin with, right? It doesn't just laying around at the side of the road or something like that. So yeah, even if there is, most likely it's already been taken to the what is it called again, like I forgot, like the recycler, like people that works for recycle, right? And then they clean it and then they repurpose it for something else, right? Maybe you can buy from this like this supplier, but I don't think they actually sell that because they bought it, right? So I don't think they're actually selling those as well. Um, Hydroponic culture led to highest biomass and protein production compared to other growth substrates of plants cultivated in the same environmental conditions and supplied with equal amount of nutrients. Okay, so there's that. Since hydroponics takes much less water, it could be possible in the future for people in harsh environments with little accessible water to grow their own food. Okay, so yeah, I guess that makes sense as well, because if you think about hydroponic, then you're basically thinking about survival, right? Because here you reduce the amount of water, right? And maybe, like just maybe in the future the water will get contaminated everywhere. Like you can really use river water anymore, and you can only use processed water, right? So maybe this can be a way, right? But you know to go there in the first place, we'll need bad things to happen in the first place, right? And I don't want to jinx it or what or not then, um, but I don't think those scenarios will actually happen, right? So yeah, well, maybe harsh environments is already here. Like it doesn't actually have to be like apocalyptic events, right? That proceed into this harsh environment, because like nowadays, like let's say in I don't know. People always say like in Africa there's no water, right? But I don't know if it's true or not. So if it's not true, then I'm sorry for using this as example, because I will use it, right? So let's say in Africa, right? When people say that there's no water there, then maybe they can use this system, right? For that, I guess. and maybe for people that are in urban area, I guess, or mountain area as well, which certain mountains, like they don't always have water, right? So maybe it's great for there, like up in the mountains area, and then maybe as well in the like, I don't know, like secluded area, probably like deep in the forest, right, where there is no river, although that's not really, I don't think, I think rivers always everywhere, but let's say, right, like there is no, right, there's none, and like people will, even if there is, then water still issue, right, like maybe they don't have lots of water, therefore doing hydroponics maybe work for them, right? But yeah, um there's actually a lot of reading over here. I have glanced over to the bottom, like it's more like history of that, right? And then there is these techniques as well. Static solution, this is what I use. Basically the water stays there, right? It doesn't really have any circulations of water, etc., etc. It can work, but mine does not, did not. I don't know what happened there, but yeah, there's that. And then there's also, I guess, yeah, continuous flow. This is the one that used the the machine, right? The pump, basically, to circulate the water. And then yeah, there's two, right? Yeah, I guess this is, and then aeroponics as well. Oh, aeroponics is still using water. Okay, interesting. They use spray jet. I guess it's the mist, right? Like the water turns into like main mist or condensates, right? Like water in the gas, basically, like water vapor, right? So yeah, that's what aeroponic does. Interesting. I thought when we talk about aeroponic, they really just put the plants outside, which I guess this makes more sense, right? Because, yeah, like because this more makes more sense. You can just put random plants out in the open, right? They will just rot instantly. So yeah, I guess this makes sense as well. Um, Fogponics, I guess this is the same as the aeroponics. It used the mist, probably, right? Passive sub irrigation, don't know what that is. Um, ebb and flow, okay, still using the flow of water, right? Yeah, like basically all of this, and yeah, like as you can see over here, there is a lot of thing over here, right? And the reason why I'm talking about this is just to mention how difficult it is. Like all these theories, it seems interesting, right? It seems exciting, but once you actually want to get into this, you will be immediately faced by the fact that you will need the setting first, right? Like the system first. Like you need the pipes, you need the machinery, you need the water container, reservoir, and then you also need this as well, which is the rock wool. So this is basically to replace the soil. They will still need this kind of stuff. I like in the beginning they mentioned using perlites, right? I guess this is one of the other way as well. And yeah, uh, yeah, using clay as well. But yeah, I guess coconut coir. So it just basically doesn't want soil, right? And I actually don't know why it is the way that it is. I guess it's for the fact that it reduces water mainly, not because of the soil. I think. But yeah, yeah, like all of this, right? You need this, just take a kilogram of, let's say, this one, polystyrene packing peanuts, right? What's a kilogram of this worth, do you think, right? Like and even you probably don't, you probably also need more than a kilo as well, right? um to fill in the mini pots for the plants, right? So yeah, um like again, like I said, when I started this, the one that became my problem was the fact that it actually used like pipes, like I said, right? And it's actually expensive. That's why I don't actually do that in the first place. And not really do that, but it's more like a failed attempt as well, right? the plants are not growing were not growing well enough, and to the point that I guess this isn't working, this isn't for me then. And yeah, again, like, I discarded the whole thing, right? Fortunately, I was not using any expensive ones. I just use like a bucket, basically like a container, and then there's also like square bucket as well that I have. um and yeah, like basically just water container, and I use those small pots. I bought them small pots and then put the seeds, and then it grows at first, but after that it stops growing, I guess because I actually probably need to move it to a bigger place, probably like in a bigger containment container, I would say. Like the mini pot is probably only for starting right from the seed to seedlings, but once it's growing into mature, probably I need to move that into a new one, right? So yeah, like, again, it takes a lot of money basically. So yeah, that's why I don't think this is a great idea if you're not familiar with this kind of stuff, right? If you're not familiar with at all, at least try to ask help from the expert, right? Like your local experts, husbandry or something like that. That actually does this kind of stuff, right? Like a local gardener, local farmer, or something like that, right? So that you have kind of the idea of how to do this entire thing, right? But yeah, I guess, like, if you're starting, then most likely you will fail in the first attempt. But I believe if you ask other expert, then try again with their supervision, then you will probably be able to succeed in making this. But I don't think this is for me, honestly. um I don't think this is yeah, like I said, I don't think this is for me, just because it's, like I said, it's expensive, right? I can just use regular water. I have plenty of water. Then I would just use the conventional using soil, right? Instead of making new system that I don't know will work or not. And yeah, basically it, I guess. Anyway, let me know what you think about hydroponics. Do you like it or do you not like it? I guess, like, because like water is kind of difficult to get, but it is still abundant. Like, we're not on the water shortage just yet. Therefore, I will just stick to the conventional, unless something bad really happened, like apocalyptical events or something like that. Again, don't I'm not trying to jinx it or anything. Like, it seems like when they promote this hydroponics with always you can do it anywhere and with less water. That specific clause or term already made my mind thinking that, oh, this is for survival, after post apocalyptic events, basically. So yeah, but yeah, maybe I will do this, like, in the future when I actually have the money. I will get myself the system and work, and I will also ask for guidance from my local greenhouse, I guess, or local farmer, or local husbandries or something like that, right? But yeah, I think that'll be it. Again, like I said, I will probably try again, but not in the recent time because I don't have money. It's expensive, and yeah. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoy it. I will see you again tomorrow with another discussion. Stay safe, stay healthy. I will see you again very soon, and see ya.